In a week that was so up in the air, the Eagles have a terrible record in week twos. Week twos are so weird for the Philadelphia Eagles. They've not started a season 2-0 since 2016, which was Carson Wentz's rookie year with the Philadelphia Eagles. Since then, they've either gone 0-2 or 1-1. They haven't started 2-0 since then. But I had some good vibes going into tonight, and clearly so did everyone else at Lincoln Financial Field, including the players on the field. I mean, Raichele, that was just so much fun from start to finish. The refs tried to ruin it a little bit and just
in the
being
beginning.
giant fun suckers. But I think the best thing we can do is just say that Kirk Cousins threw 3 interceptions tonight and Jalen Hurts had 5 total incompletions.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
where we are, and that sums up pretty much everything we saw tonight.
All I can say is I can say it for both of them. Jalen Hurts is him. I'm seeing that all over Twitter, and
Mhm.
Darius Slay is him. They did a
Accurate.
phenomenal job tonight. Like I was so impressed by Jalen Hurts' performance. Like 18 of wait, hold on. Let me pull up my stats. The fact, well, like you already mentioned, the fact that he had 2 rushing touchdowns, he had 1 in the air, like he was balling, like using his legs. He was accurate. The fact that he was keeping his eyes downfield, like stepping up into the pocket, everything that we've been wanting to see, we saw from Jalen Hurts tonight. So I have nothing bad to say. The haters are gonna hate, but like put some respect on his name.
He was tremendous tonight. Aside from the interception, which,
Yeah.
it's another one of those similar to the one he had last week where you hate that goes to he gets credited with the interception in that kind of situation.
Mhm.
The play wasn't there, and I think that, Kenneth Gainwell kind of saw it last minute, so it's a shame that it happened the way it did.
Yeah.
Obviously the defense did what they needed to do at the end there so it really didn't matter.
Yeah.
But, aside from that one interception, 26 of 31, 333 yards in the air, as well as a touchdown, as you said, and then another 11 rushes for 57 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that second touchdown he had where he just refused to go down. I mean, the strength that you have from him as well. I mean, it's like trying to bring down a linebacker. He's
Yeah.
an enormous human being. And I mean, there were very few things across the board that you could complain about tonight. There was there was nothing. The
Yeah,
defense
there were some
kept.
penalties early. That's the
Yes.
only thing. We saw a couple of those like illegal man downfield penalties super early, but I think they did a good job like cleaning it up later on.
I would agree. I think that actually Joe Buck and Troy Aikman said one of the funniest things I've ever heard either of them say, which was, the refs thought to themselves, what's going to make everybody really excited tonight? All of these ineligible men downfield penalties,
Yeah.
which made me laugh pretty hard because usually I don't think they're very funny, but that one was good. And I definitely agree with this comment here. We passed the litmus test.
Yes.
Week 1, we weren't sure. It was the Lions. We didn't know what the Lions were. Obviously the Lions are more of a legitimate football team than they have been in the last few years. Based on their performance this week as well. And you kind of wanted to see what that was. The Vikings beat the crap out of the Packers last week, and
Yeah.
the Eagles still scored 38 points but gave up 35 points, and you wanted to see what they were going to do, especially at home in prime time. I mean, the stage was set for your typical Eagles letdown, right? Everything we get every year, that letdown, it was perfectly set for it. But I mean, every single player that needed to step up stepped up. Every coach stepped up. In every single facet that they could,
Mhm.
everything was well done. I do still think, I don't know what it is about the defense and Jonathan Gannon that I still just can't get behind. I thought that the defense played their butts off today, and obviously Darius Slay was just. I mean, I think he should have. He
Yeah.
had what, 6.5 interceptions, I think,
Yes.
close. I mean, it
He
was
was
really
insane
two,
tonight.
but you know what I mean. Um, and they took everybody away. They couldn't do anything. Justin Jefferson couldn't do anything. We know Jalen Reagor can't do anything anyway. Adam Thielen
Yes.
couldn't do anything. Dalvin Cook, they couldn't get the run game. They could not do anything.
They held him to 6 receptions for 48 yards. And I was scared, like going into this game.
Sure.
Going up against, I mean, who wouldn't be? You know, it was Justin Jefferson. I was scared, but Darius Slay had him on lock tonight. So you got to give him credit, like both ends. Jalen Hurts did his thing, but Darius Slay definitely held the birds in for this one.
Yeah. I mean, they did such an amazing job tonight. I mean, I have no complaints. Are there complaints on Twitter? Are people finding things to complain about on Twitter?
Let's see.
In our 3 words. The first one I'm seeing is probably my personal favorite. It's, as every week we use our 3 words to describe how you're feeling after the game. And the first one that pops up for me is, "You like that?" That makes me happy.
I saw that somebody said Super Bowl bound, but this is definitely a team that looked like, okay, don't play with them. Like we could go all the way, honestly. Oh man, Rager had as many rushing yards as Cousins. Dang. But everybody's talking about, okay, all right, so we got jobs not done. Fair. I mean, it's only week 2, so this is like an encouraging performance to see.
Yeah.
An eligible receiver downfield, big play Slay, no more questions. Is it real?
I hope it's real.
Right.
I hope it's real. One of my favorite memes that I've seen so far is, that meme from Impractical Jokers where it like tells someone to do like something stupid and then like the image of them doing something stupid and then them all laughing at the bottom. This one says, "Kirk, throw it to Slay again." And then he does, and then they're all laughing. And that's tremendous. I'm not surprised though. I mean, do we understand now why even the Washington football team, Commanders, whatever the hell they're called these days, just kept franchise tagging the dude, and the owner didn't even remember if his name didn't bother to learn if his name was Kirk or Kurt.
Right. He looked really, really bad. And you could tell he was definitely getting frustrated, both him and Jefferson. But
good.
That's what we're supposed to be doing at the
Good.
end of the week.
They had so much to say all freaking week long. Justin Jefferson had so much to say. Someone please make sure we figure out if he'd still rather be on a plane back to Minnesota than hanging out here for the rest of his career.
I saw that comment. I'm like, okay, you look really stupid now.
That's enough. Yeah. Return game still looks bad. Sure. But didn't have to return too many kickoffs. No. There were none, actually. There was one, a single one. And I'm pretty sure they botched that. But yeah, I mean, the penalties, and if you want to get super nitpicky, the return game. But the penalties, again, they had the penalties last week and they carried over into the first half, which was frustrating, especially because they nullified a couple really decent looking plays.
Yeah.
But they did manage to clean that up by the second half. And again, I think some of them were really, really nitpicky.
Yeah.
Like I think that OPI call on Devontae Smith was a really nitpicky pick call.
That was the biggest one that I had took note of. Zach Berman had tweeted out something about it, and it was just pretty much like, the Eagles ended up punting for sure, and then that's when Jalen Reagor came on and they started booing like crazy. But
actually,
like we said, I don't think the refs were on our side in the beginning, but it didn't matter at the end because they were still able to pull out that win. So there was also something that I did see, and this is also just being really, really nitpicky as well. Hurts had that really, really nice throw to Dallas Goedert, and he dropped it. It was like 3rd and 12, and Goddard was in coverage, and the pass was like really like right on the money. That was a really good job by Jalen Hurts too. But if only I think that was to Goddard. It might have been to Pascal. If only he would have caught that, then that would have been really nice.
Were there? I am struggling to think of any one of those incompletions that was because of a bad ball by Jalen Hurts.
No,
I don't think in 31 pass attempts there was one.
He had a pass that was super, super low, but it was completed. It was super low to AJ Brown.
Yep. I 100% agree. There are, but again, that's something that you want to see, right? Like,
yeah, got it. Yeah.
In years past, yes, there are, every ball is not going to be perfect. Tom Brady doesn't throw every ball perfectly, and neither does Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But they also have guys that they can rely on to, balance it out. For example, last week we talked about how Jalen Hurts bailed, Shane Steichen out with a couple different play calls here and there because it was, terrible timing for certain play calls, and he bailed them out with his legs. It's things like that where, okay, not a great ball thrown here, but your receiver needs to be able to bail you out here and there. Or, not a great route, whatever, but a perfect ball, what have you. All of those things need to work together and need to work in harmony. And that's finally what we're starting to see. They're picking each other up in different areas of that. And I think that's something that, when you see that cohesion, that's when you feel like this team is going to be able to go places.
Yeah. And it's so early. So the fact that like last week we were hearing a lot about how the defense, hadn't been able to gel, but this was a completely different defense this week. So that was really encouraging to see. So I'm just excited after this performance. Like I don't have anything, negative to say. The fact that 4 players had over 50 receiving yards, like last week, the biggest talk was not getting everybody involved. And so the fact that we saw 4 players excelling, like they did a really, really good job. Jalen Hurts did a really, really good job. I don't know. Like, I don't really have anything bad to say about this performance.
No, after last week, the couple things that were, that were the frustrating pieces were, the defense wasn't great. The penalties were frustrating, and the offensive play calling I thought was, subpar, as well as, not spreading the ball around. And all 4 of those things were addressed. The defense came to play. And I did think Jonathan Gannon called a good game today. The blitzes were, perfectly timed each time. And they really continued to get home and really frustrate Kirk Cousins. As you mentioned, he looked really frustrated. The penalties carried over a little bit, but they started to clean them up much better. And I didn't see any flaws in the offensive game plan and play calling this week. That was, I was very impressed, especially that first drive.
Yes.
Beauty, a thing of beauty. I have no complaints. I have no complaints on this Monday evening at 11:36 p.m.
Right.
I hope my kid continues to sleep so I can just go to bed a happy person and not wake up till the
At least
morning.
we can have a good like week. Just imagine if it would have been Rose verse. We can literally like get through this week because of this. It gives us momentum.
It really does. My mood is dependent on the way that the Philadelphia Eagles perform.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse. And we had a couple of these games last year. The Monday night game, it was week 3, Monday night they played in Dallas. Do you remember? It was 11 o'clock and we were ready to just bash our heads against the wall.
Yeah.
We were doing a post-game show, and like there was an absolutely, we have no negatives to talk about right now. There was not one single positive to talk about after that game. And I remember waking up Tuesday morning and feeling hungover as all hell, and I hadn't had anything to drink. So I'm so happy that we can just enjoy our week and get ready to, watch them kick the crap out of the Commanders next week.
That's what I was about to say, next week. But I'm confident in next week's performance, honestly. I mean, if we
I'm
could
not concerned about next week.
Why should we be? Yeah, did they win yesterday? The Commanders?
No.
Okay. Who was that game against?
They lost to the Lions.
Oh, so yeah, easily. We got that.
They were talking something crazy about, the Eagles let the Lions score 35 points. They let the Lions score 36 points.
Okay, so that'll be an easy win.
Took a fat L. Oh, it's going to be tremendous.
And I can't wait for that.
I can't wait.
We have after the Commanders.
They come back home and they welcome Doug Peterson back to Philadelphia and play the Jags. But again, so they have a good stretch coming up. So they are at Commanders, home against the Jags. Then they go to Arizona, who also look like hot garbage.
Yeah.
And then they come home and play the Cowboys.
Okay.
The Cooper Rush-led Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
On Sunday Night Football in Philadelphia.
That'll be a good one for sure.
I'm trying so hard to get to that. It's much.
You gotta go. You gotta go to that game.
I will be at the 1:00 game against the Jags. That one I will be in attendance for.
Okay.
The night games are really, really difficult with an infant.
Yeah.
Very hard.
I feel it.
She was awake. Her bedtime is we start, bath time at 7, and we
Okay.
start that. So by 8 o'clock, she's asleep.
Uh-huh.
She decided tonight that she was going to wake up at 8:50
Oh,
and not go back to sleep until halftime. So I was watching on the phone in silence with the baby, trying to make it all work. Okay.
yeah.
There's things we have to do now,
Yeah.
apparently.
I mean, but look, you're here. I appreciate you for being here.
I'm here and they won.
Yes.
That's all that matters.
Hopefully she sleeps still.
God, I can only hope. My
Yeah.
husband was like, "Do you want me to leave the monitor down here?" I was like, "Absolutely not. Please take her with you. If she cries, I'm busy. You need to get her this
You
time."
gotta handle it, right?
But thankfully, but again, you know what? All worth it for the win.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to talk about expectations, but that was how 2017 was, right? Like
Mhm.
it gives this season so far, it gives me those vibes. Like
Yeah.
it was sort of it was every hole was filled in the roster that needed to be.
Mhm.
You had some exciting pieces come in. You thought, wow, this could be something.
Yeah.
But every week they would outdo the expectations you had for them. And
Yeah.
but you didn't really want to look ahead because we always do that and always get let down, but they just kept going and it kept getting better and kept getting better. And then we let ourselves get a little too hopeful and Carson Wentz tore his ACL.
Yeah.
And then we just thought, all right, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And then it kept getting better and better and better and better and better again, and they won a Super Bowl. So
Exactly.
you know what, Chris, you're absolutely right. I don't want to talk about expectations, but it's really hard to not be optimistic after that performance tonight.
No way. If you have like bad things to say, then I guess you're just a negative person. Because that was the best performance that we've seen from Jalen Hurts, period.
Yeah, 100%. That was easily the best game in his 21 NFL games.
Yeah.
Best game of his career by far.
Yeah.
No question. And which is, we hope he still continues to improve because we don't want it to go down from here. But
yeah.
I mean, listen,
At least we saw it.
PM, no complaints.
At least we can say we saw it. That's the biggest thing. We hadn't seen it up until this point. And so now we can, chalk it up. We saw the improvements that we've been talking about all offseason. Now we just need them to stack them.
Right.
That would be nice.
You could see it in him. You knew he was capable of it. And even in all of that, he was still cool as ever.
Yes. Well, yeah, I love the picture. Did you see the picture that was going around? Well, I'm sure you saw it. And he was just posing like, yeah, I told y'all.
But like that, and again, that's the most emotion you ever see from this man. Like he just doesn't. He's not fazed by anything, good or bad.
No.
He just goes out there and balls.
Yeah. Every time. And that's all we need, As long as he can do that every week, I'm good.
Can't ask for more?
Nope, not at all.
Not ask for more. Next week, Eagles, Commanders, 1:00 game, so you don't have to stay up late with us for a post-game show.
Yes.
Feeling 3-0. Speaking into existence.
I'm feeling it. That can easily, I'm confident for sure.
Everyone go get some rest and sleep well. Sleep well knowing that we don't need Justin Jefferson. Kirk Cousins sucks.
Yes.
The Eagles are 2-0. We have our franchise quarterback. We have all the right pieces. Let's have some more fun this season. Thank you for jumping in to listen to us at 11:45 at night. I'm sure everyone's tired, but has a little bit of energy still based on a win. Make sure you're subscribed everywhere on BGN. We've got so much stuff coming out to you every day, every week. All the content coming out. It's amazing. So make sure you thumbs up, follow us on all sorts of social medias. For myself and Raichele, thanks for listening to us again, and we'll talk to you next week.